right.
I see all this yellow and black. I feel like we vibing like
No, for real.
twin. Where have you been? Like,
Nobody knows me. Like, I'm
yeah.
just saying. And this wasn't planned. So
That that's why I was just like vibes for days, right? I had to hit my little wooty today because it was one of those type of days.
I see that. I see you got the Lulu tag on.
You know, gotta be representing the woo.
Mhm.
Like, what?
Well, you represent Lulu, but I'm a '90s R&B kind of girl.
First off, the fact that it's just 90s in general, like I was like, look at this in sickness, like what? But girl, so like as usual, it's been a long week, and I know for many people who sit and tune in with us, they probably had a long week as well.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Our conversation last time was spot on. I feel like that whole trust and loyalty, just like really, really recapping about what it means, how we see it, and how we grew up experiencing it. And I
Mm.
feel like and how we deal with trust and loyalty now. But baby, I'm telling you, this is a different conversation tonight. Ready, friend?
I'm about as ready as I'm gonna
Because
be.
I'm telling you, I'm chatting. I'm about to get chatty.
Oh, you got
Okay.
something to say? Oh,
I
you got
got I
something to
got
say?
I gotta let some stuff off my chest. Like I gotta express myself. Okay. So
Okay.
dealing and navigating commitment in today's society when there's so many people ingrained in hookup culture. And I feel like the idea around situationships taking more precedence than people being in committed interactions and relationships with one another.
Mm.
I feel like it's mind blowing. Like we've just completely changed the culture.
For sure. I think what makes it even crazier, and I know I've heard this from like other people, it's so many mini stages now too. It's like, oh, we're just talking. Oh, we're in a situationship. Oh, we're dating. Oh, we're in a relationship. Oh, like it's so many different stages that takes place now. That it's like before, like, hey, I'm your girlfriend, you mine. We here.
Yeah, I went out to something not too long ago, and I ran into somebody that I had an interaction with in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we would be people who we dated. I'll say that. I'll say that we dated,
Okay.
and when it was time for us to be around other people who knew us, somebody had asked that person like, "Oh, like, hey, you guys, yeah, like y'all know each other?" And they were like, "Yeah, we have history." And I was like, "That's an interesting way to
Say that.
express this." I feel like that was a loaded word, right? You know what I'm saying? So I think I probably shot, grabbed my pearls a little bit, and was just like, I don't know if that puts more emphasis on it.
For real.
That it gives more of a story. So I was like, I guess how I view the situation is like dating, hooking up, and I would even say like courtship are very different.
Okay. They all do have different steps to them. Both of them, all of them had different steps or different things that are allowed and not allowed.
When I say that I'm committed to somebody, we go together real bad. Okay?
Real bad.
Real bad. I'm locked in with that person. So I don't ever like put a label like if I always wait, and maybe this is my thing, and I feel like a lot of men may know women who do this too. I'm gonna let you answer the question before I answer the question. Right?
Okay.
So if somebody asks me, what is the situation between you and that person? I don't need all of those, like I know the man who be like, oh, that's my little lady friend. You know? All of us like either we go together real bad, okay? I need you to hit them with the we go together real bad situation. If that's not what it is, cool. But I usually let men take the lead on how they want to respond to that question in front of others because then I'm gonna move accordingly in response. That question don't sound like it's being answered in the way that it needs to be answered, then I know everything that I need to know.
Yeah, because you can be the lady friend, you can be the little friend, or I got one better. You can just be your name. They be like, "Oh, this is Brittany." Now you done turned into just Brittany.
I mean, okay, so I'll give it on a flip perspective. I ex boyfriend of mine, before he was in the boyfriend category, right? I
Hmm.
remember we were out at dinner, and while we were out at dinner, like I said, a group of people who knew me from the past come up. They're like, "Hey, girl," they give me a hug. Some guys that I grew up with, and the first thing that the brother did was he got up, he looked at them, and was like, "Hi, my name is so and so." respect. He wanted to shake hands as a man. Now I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was like, I was going to do some type of warm introduction, but you haven't seen people in a long time. The first thing is they're gonna greet me. I'm gonna greet them, and then I'm gonna say this is who I'm with. Before I could even turn and point to the brother, he was already up shaking hands. Like, and he said, he explained to me. He said, I felt like we're past the dating phase now, so an introduction is warranted early out the gate. Now, in my mind, you still date me, and there's a potential that while you're still dating me, I may be dating others. You want to switch to courting me, and by that, I feel like you want more of a commitment where it's just me and you in this thing, and we're exploring the possibility of relationship.
But I feel like that's where the conversation needs to be had. Because, like you said, you have a lot of people where, like, they go with you, but you don't go with them. You get what I'm saying? Don't just sit up here and assume, like, oh, well, I feel like we're this, so I told everybody at the function that's what it is. No, that needs to be a conversation that needs to be had before you up and jump up here and start telling everybody, I'm her man, I'm her man, I'm her man.
But like, why do you feel like it's so confusing? I feel like in this day and age, like, where are we like not
So
drawing the lines
I
clearly?
feel like I hate to say this. I don't want to upset the masses. I feel like because we let so much other things go free, and that's where the line get drawn. So it's like for men or females, however they play out, they staying at your house every night. You buying them clothes, you buying them food, you taking them on trips, paying for the trips. You doing all type of stuff. You doing every action that takes place for this person to pretty much be somebody you're committed to. But no, we just dating.
Woo! I'm gonna tell you right now, Papa Molly, I'm sweating because I can't. I
I'm
mean,
just
where you said
saying
that,
that's really how it be
I
though.
had to question.
Every other action, y'all literally are doing every other action but the title. The title is
And
the only thing
and
that's not
I
there.
think that's one of those things in terms of like being connected with somebody. Sharing a soul tie, you're sharing bodies, right? You bumping uglies, you're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you say buying, flying, um,
Purchasing, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I struggle with that, right? Okay, because no. There's something things that I cannot do to somebody that I'm not fully committed to. I gotta
Mm-hmm.
be all in. I am just like a lot of these men that run around in the street. I have
So
commitment issues.
let
It
me tell
takes
you.
a lot from me. Now, kindness being extended to somebody that I'm dating, I'm going to be kind to whoever I'm dating.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to reciprocate within the dating process. But doing things that require a relationship exclusively in a title of a relationship, I will not do. That's like when older women used to say, why buy the cow when you could get the milk for free?
Mm-hmm.
Baby, there is no trip or flight on me. And I feel like
But
for
see that.
men too, I don't let men just do certain things for me without the idea that I'm a little bit more to you. Because then you're playing with somebody. Yeah, you can take me out to dinner. I want all of that. I want my shrimps and pennies and my pastas. But at the same time, I'm not gonna let you put me on a plane and I'm running game on you because I'm
But
not
not,
as committed to you.
but not even just that. I'm gonna tell you right. I knew this guy back in the day who was like a dater, right? Like he was dating multiple girls, this, that, and the third. And it would get to the point where kind of like he's like, oh, this girl thinks we're this, or she wants more from me, or she think we're more than what we are, everything like that. And I'm like, okay, so what are some of the things you do? Once again, like we were just saying, taking on trips. You done took this girl to Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Bali, everywhere else. You done paid for it. When you get back home, she's staying at your house. She's doing this. She washing your clothes, her clothes. You picking up her son from daycare. You doing all type of stuff. But then you're wondering why she's confused, thinking that y'all into something. You showing up to Thanksgiving dinner with the fam. You doing all these things, and then wonder why she think y'all deeper than what y'all
But you
are. And he was
know what?
like
Well,
blown.
you know what's so crazy because that's not the perspective that he had on it. I'm tricking on Shorty because I want to keep her and I want to have maintain access
But
to
what
her. And she's the
part of
type of
picking up your
person.
kid from daycare is that? Like picking up the kid from daycare is crazy.
Okay, there's like a lot of guys who date single mothers because they like, look, I date the girl because I know she's gonna be home. I know she's gonna be with her kids. I know there's gonna be food in the fridge. I know that hoe is home. She not out in the street. She ain't playing outside. There's male logic and female logic are very different. There's more of us that are the same that we would like to admit with how we do things, but I would say our basic principalities have some differences. And I feel like in that situation, You had mentioned this before, liking companionship without commitment. I like her as
Mm-hmm.
a companion. She's great to fly out. She's a great conversationalist. She likes to get dressed up. She matches my steam, right? Her little son, he ain't all that bad. I could get his little neat little snack and he cool, right? He ain't worried about that because it's maintaining the companionship that he wanted
But
to
my thing
foster.
is, and that's cool, but don't, here's my thing. At the end of the day, let's be real. Don't act like you shocked about how she got confused. That's the thing. Don't act like you shocked about how she got confused. You done damn near moved in Shorty house.
I'm gonna tell you
And you
like
sitting here acting like you
you
confused.
have men that would do everything. They would propose to you in the most intimate of moments. You could be somebody's wife, baby mother, lover, and best friend all in one moment. And then the next time you interact with those gentlemen, they like, well, I don't understand why you ain't you surprised that I was running with so and so or running with so and so and talking to Shorty because of what you communicated. And there's a difference. Do you believe in what people say or what people show you? Actions and words are two different things. So yes, I would take it as somebody flying me out of the country and all of that stuff as an action that indicates we may be more to each other. Or you like out of town P. You may just like the idea of having me go
Mhm.
places with you and having a good time. I could be a good time person in your book. That's
I
good
ain't
to
gonna
take us
lie.
around different
I
places. It's
ain't gonna lie.
convenient.
Depending on the day, yeah, depending on the day, I might not believe it either. I might not believe your action or your words for real. Because it's, it gets too confusing. Like I said, it's too confusing out here.
Hookup culture implies that our needs are carnal, right? Our ability to say, yo, I need this, I need that stress relief, I need somebody to crack it, right? I need all of that type of interaction because that's what hookup culture is. I need somebody that I could play with and lay with,
Okay.
but not stay with. And I feel like
Hmm.
that's the emphasis because temporary satisfaction is what we've developed for so many years now. Everybody wants a microwaved experience. I don't want to cook it on the stove. Cooking it on the stove takes too long. If it's
Let me
microwave,
go and
then
pop
it
the little
comes out
hot
hot and
pocket
ready
in the
like Little Caesar's
microwave.
pizza,
Hmm.
right? And that's the type of interaction that we used to. And I can say that over time, as you get older, it shifts and it changes. But there's older women and men who are like, I need simple, quick commitment. I don't want no long-term relationships. That's stressful. I don't need the interaction. You got young folk that's like, look, I'm not done with my play era. I
True, but
have to keep moving around.
I think the part that gets confusing is when you don't explain that. Get what I'm saying? You have people that don't explain that and they act like I don't know how we got here. Now, if you sat up there and you broke the situation and the code down and you said this is how I'm moving, this is what I'm doing, X, Y, Z, okay, cool. And then after that is how you take it, however that happens. But you have people that will not give you the blueprint, that will not say anything, and then be like, "Oh, I don't know how we got here."
Oh, I've had this conversation with you before, and it's like, when is a good time to have those conversations? And most people say, hey, is that a first date talk? Do I draw the line? Because some people are caught off guard when you bring stuff up that too early. Or is that we've been kicking it for a month or more, and it's time to have a real conversation about, are we hooking
So
up or are we working on something?
here's what I learned, right? I feel like a lot of people nowadays, I hate to put it on this, I feel like it has to deal with age, right? Depending on the age, depends on when you decide to have these conversations. Because if you sit up here and you talk to a 20-year-old, they might sit up here and give you a month or two before we had this conversation. But if you speak to a 35, 40-year-old, they be like, baby, what we doing now? Like, let me ask you some questions. If it don't work for you, if you don't like the questions, if whatever case may be, if I rubbed you the wrong way, nice meeting you. We had a good little date. Go on about your day and keep it moving because you like age will really be that factor sometimes. Because I promise you, I just had that conversation with somebody where like in the dating world, the person just said the wrong response and they're like, "Yep, not for me," and that was it. Have a good day, brother, and kept it moving. Didn't even get to the dating process.
Well, I feel like
Like
when
legitimately.
you get older, you get to that point where you start to rule out people a lot faster than when you were younger.
You don't
I
got
would
time.
say when I was younger, I used to in my 20s, I used to feel like I found out I was in relationships. I used to find,
Okay.
and like I said, I would be around somebody and we would get in front of somebody else and they'd be like, yeah, that's my shorty, that's my girl. I'll be like, oh, did we? I like when did we? Hmm.
I ain't gonna lie. I
Interesting.
feel like in the 20s, a lot of girlfriend names was placed. I feel like we were a lot of people girlfriends in our 20s and didn't even know.
Didn't even know it. Didn't even know it. Like I used to have to unpack it, and I was just like, "Wow, okay." So I guess this is not yielded to more of a conversation. Like when do we sit down and get into the dynamics of this and why you feel that way, why I do or don't agree with you. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you said, as you get older, I feel like the conversations where you thought it would get a lot easier, because like you said, it depends on age. I think that there's a lack of maturity even for like the generations to come. So many people are struggling because hookup culture has existed so long
Mm-hmm.
that we're running away from difficult conversations.
That's
The minute like
expanding at
people,
that.
yep, people break up, drop friends, leave people, stop talking to each other. The minute, like you said, they don't like something, they don't even try to work through it. So I think the idea of whoever says, "What are we first?" is the
Mm-hmm.
person that's like setting up for the quick exit. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I feel like it's hard for people to navigate those conversations now because it takes away from the microwave perspective. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
like, you asked me really quickly, so I'm gonna answer you quick. I don't know. You don't want to be here after I say I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You out the door.
But then I think it's like, like you said, because it's expanding. I feel like it's expanding, right? So also, it's not like before. It was one of those things where like men moved a certain way. It's like everybody's moving that kind of way now. Like it's expanding now, where it's like, huh, you had men that be like, oh, I thought we was together. It's not just women where like men are doing it. No, women are doing it too. Where it's kind of like, I thought we was together. Like you said in your story, I thought we was together. I thought we was progressing. I thought we was doing all these things. And kind of, boo boo. No, boo, we not.
And it happens. Like I really do feel like it happens. And I was like, to get back to a point of commitment, like some basic understandings do have to be arrived to. And I feel like there's a morality that has to hit there, right? We have to trust, like going back to what we said the last time, trusting one another. We have to be in a space where I feel comfortable with being in a relationship with you. I can't commit, nor most people can't commit to somebody that they don't trust. And if they choose to commit to somebody they don't trust, they have other reasons. They have a
Mhm.
list of other reasons that allow for them to sit in those situations.
Mhm.
Because otherwise, why bother? We could just be hooking up.
True. So, like I said, I don't. It gets so sticky. You know what I'm saying? It's a sticky situation. It all depends on who you deal with.
You know, I mean, okay, you have different types of people, and we already spoke about like why some people enter into relationships based off of their experiences growing up, right?
Mhm.
That's a lot of your firsthand knowledge. I think we are the next generation, so the kids that are growing up, I listen to them. You know, like I work with the babies, I spend a lot of time with the young people, engaged in conversation, and when I hear them talking about relationships, it's very much like, oh, I'm on his team, like he got this many bodies. I got this many bodies. He got this many girls. I got this many guys. Oh, he a brokey. Oh no, he a munch. This is how the kids talk, right? And so everything is already set up to go to war. They
Mhm.
come at each other so hard where it's just like, how do y'all even know y'all like each other? Because y'all are already set up to shoot and fire. Like
Mhm.
we spoke about how there's so many male and female podcasters out, right? And a
Mhm.
lot of the conversations are about relationships. And it makes it seem like getting into something committed is volatile. It doesn't paint a healthy depiction or a nice depiction on working through something with somebody and entering a healthy relationship. Most of the perspective is like men going against women and women going against men.
So let me ask you this: since you said, like you said, we are the new generation, right? Do you think we are actually good examples, though?
No, I think we wounded warriors. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like not for real. I feel like
I think we're trying. I think we're at a stage now, especially because we're getting older, right? And with age comes knowledge. So I feel like you said, in our 20s, shake it, shake it, shake it. We was out there, right? But now that we're in our 30s, we're starting, like you said, we're going through the healing process. We're doing all these things. And I feel like because the next generation after us is already kind of too far gone, it's hard to kind of switch them over because now it's going to be one of those things where like, you going to have to live and learn like I did too.
I'm gonna say something very real, right? And this is a big debate amongst most women our age. Their older women used to say the time to have found love and commitment was when you were about 18 and 19, where you should have been set, yeah, when you should have been setting up shop. There's plenty of older women in conversation that would say The time for you to have found your husband was back when you was about 21, baby. You were supposed to lock in on that person and figure it out and build with that individual. Once you get to a certain age, you get less tolerant, less open to certain shit. You don't want to be waiting for somebody to continue to develop and build themselves. So as you get older, it gets harder to trust and commit. Young, dumb love allows you to be more
Mhm.
susceptible and willing and maybe even eager to enter into a relationship with
You know
somebody
what?
without all of the things being built out.
I will
We
say
want people to
this though.
come so made that we like, I need it so set up because I don't have the time to play.
But I will say this though, and from having that experience, young dumb love is a hardship. Young dumb love is a story that do you really want to have to tell your grandkids later on? Because I'm telling you now, I had a boyfriend that passed away where like all high school, whatever, where we probably would have been married and all those things, right? But when I tell you the story that would have took place if we had to tell our grandkids, our kids, and everything else, it would have been a mess because since you are a young dumb love, young dumb shit happens. Dumb shit starts prevailing, and that's what happens. People get hurt. Shit happens. You break up a couple times, you come back, you get married, you might get separated. All that takes a place. So now, yeah, you can sit up here and say, yeah, we've been together 45 years. But ask them what happened in that 45 years too. Some shit took place. Shit happened.
You know, it's crazy because when I listen to the young ones too, when they get into those intense relationships where it's like we're gonna be together for the rest of our lives, like okay, as a professional, when I'm sitting with young people, I'm like, try to place some of the focus on you growing up. Just grow up. Just
Mhm.
continue to grow up as a person. When you start picturing a future with you and somebody else growing up, it becomes very complicated, right?
Yeah.
And that's like that part of being young and dumb. My mother used to explain to me all the time that when you first fall in love with somebody, it's euphoric. They can do no wrong. It is like they have
Mhm.
stars and skies and moons in their eyes, and they can't.
They're
They
the
shit
best thing
roses.
walking.
You know,
Mhm.
they the best thing walking. And then the deeper you get, it kind of wears itself off.
Yes.
All of that cute stuff and all of that great stuff become a little less cute, and that's when you get into
I
the real meat and butter of a relationship, the thick of it.
Yes, I had that conversation with a friend one time where I was like, at one point, and you can see it with other people that know are in relationships. Well, like at one point, you will have drunk that man's bathwater. That's the same if anybody ever heard it. But you know how it used to be like, oh, you will drink that man's bathwater, and then eventually stuff starts to happen. So now that emotion, different things, hurt, hurt makes you hurt makes you look at somebody differently.
Let me
Different
tell you,
things that happen makes you look at people differently, and it takes away somebody that who you are attracted to, you love so much. When hurt and trauma and different things start happening in that relationship, it will start taking away.
that's a whole fact. You know what's so crazy? I had said this at one point. When I was younger, I would have said if I really, really, really rock with somebody and I was that much in love with a person,
Mhm.
I would have said I love that dude's dirty drawers. Like I
Ah,
love him down.
whoa,
Yep, like
whoa,
that's if I
whoa,
really, and I'm gonna tell you that's a rare
whoa.
occasion, baby, because I'm one of those. Like I said, commitment is a process. I don't believe in committing to everyone or anyone. So if I was really locked in and I felt
You was
that
out
way about a
like
person,
washing the drawers.
like I said, it was down to the I love you down to them dirty drawers and them socks, okay?
Not
And
the side with the
you
hole
know,
in it.
that's how I knew it was real for me. And that's why I said it's a different experience dating someone. Dating implies I'm getting to know you. I'm peeling your layers back like an onion. I'm
Hmm.
learning to experience you through different lenses. Somebody that I'm dating, I want to see you across different
So
settings,
let me
right?
tell you,
I got to
I
see you out in the. I got to see you in the church. I got to see you in the movie theater. I got to see you at a dinner table. I got to see you around your family. I may have
yeah.
to experience you around my family at some point. I
So
have
let
to
me tell you,
encounter you in different settings.
for me, I would call that more so a situation, right? But I used to talk to this guy way back where his idea of dating was exactly that. We go on dates. So like I didn't understand that because we were like, going through the phase and doing different stuff. He's like, oh, we're dating. So in my opinion, I'm like, okay, we're in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? At this point, I'm like, we going out, we doing stuff. Like you said, we hanging out. I'm around your people, you around mine, whatever, whatever. I'm like, that's more in the situation. He's like, no, it's dating because dating is like going on dates. And I was like, excuse me? Like, so that's what we're calling dating now? Dating is just going because we met at Olive Garden that we're on a date and that's dating.
I mean, what's 100%? It's not inaccurate, right? Because, like I said,
Okay.
I want to see how you handle different conversations when I'm dating a guy, right? It's not just about you buying me dinner,
Hmm.
and I feel like that's something that also is now contributing to what we call hookup culture. Many men are like, I'm not paying for Shorty to eat because she hungry and she looking for a meal. I was like, literally, the idea of dating. I eat every day. I don't need anybody to pay for my food, right? If I'm agreeing to go on a date with you, I'm agreeing to the experience of you. I am trying to get to know you as a person. I'm trying to learn not only your character, like what else you represent, what you bring, and what's in your brain. Like literally,
So,
if I don't like the conversation, I may eat the food and I may go home afterwards because your conversation and your mindset wasn't where it needed to be for me. Don't be offended because I ate the food and I didn't decide to link up with you further because I didn't like your conversation at the table. That's what dating is. And so, yes, we may have to go out a few times. Some of that may be on
yeah.
you, some of that may be on me. But yes, dating is not necessarily we're in a relationship. That becomes
No, true, and I understand
courtship.
that.
If we're in a relationship and we go on dates, then we're courting.
So yeah, so I understand, and that's what I'm saying. I understand that if we're going on dates and you're like, okay, this and the third, that's dating, but don't sit up here and be like, oh, let's do these other little things, and then be like, oh, we're just dating. No, if your definition of dating is going out on a date, then that's where the line gets drawn. Then that's what we're doing, or whatever the case may be.
I
Because
went
like you said,
on
I don't need you to take me out on a date. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I can feed myself, I can do all that. For you to feel like, oh, we went out on a date, so show you wanted a free meal, show you wanted this, ta ta ta. Because I'm definitely one of those people where whoever asks for the date, I feel like should pay the bill. That's I'm one of those people too. If I ask you, hey, what are you doing? Let's do this, that, and the third. I might be like, okay, I was going to pick up the bill or whatever the case may be. But you have some people where it's kind of one of those things, and we have had this conversation with other people, as you know, where like they feel like if the attraction and everything isn't there, they shouldn't pick up the bill. If that be the case, we didn't go on a date. We went Dutch. We we went out to eat. That's what we did.
and you know what? And I one thing is I do this anytime going on dates, right? People go like, "Oh no, as a woman, you shouldn't even reach or you shouldn't offer." And I was like, "Let me tell you something. Once I've experienced a date with somebody, if I knew that I wasn't feeling it, and I knew that this
Hmm.
person, I don't feel like the man is obligated just to do A, B, and C because I don't want you to get any wrong impressions. You're not going to approach me wrong. There's plenty of men who lose their mind. You're not going to end up assaulting me. You're not going to flip out on me because you have a different impression of how this date went than I do. So personally, I was always taught I don't leave my house without money. I
Facts.
don't go nowhere. But I say, if I'm just getting to know you, I may say, let's meet at the date. I got a car,
You
you got a car.
got a
Let's
car.
show up to this location. So if it don't go down, I'ma leave. Now I've had plenty of men be like, nah, you don't want to ride with me. I'm gonna pick you up and drop.
No,
Um, I got an
but I
address for
mean,
you. You gotta meet me here. And so
but
so
I
many men are
agree.
like, oh yeah, that because girls are not going out for the right reasons. And I'm like, nah, there's a safety component and there's a build up that we gotta feel comfortable and get to know people
Yeah,
during
but
dates.
I can say that's for the men that still do chivalry, right? I can understand the part of wanting to pick them up, wanting to, to do all that. I can understand that for the guys that's the reason for why they're doing it. But because of, like you said, where we are now, it's kind of like, no, my best bet is to drive my car on this first date, make sure I have my card, my cash, and everything else, just in case this doesn't go the way you believe. Because, like I said, the example I just gave. Somebody was like, oh, well, if the vibe ain't there, I ain't paying. Now you stuck. And this person that said they're going to take you out and they're going to take you on a date.
Let
And
me
they pay.
let me tell you, epic dating fails. How people present themselves before you agree to go out on a date. When I was somebody who presented themselves one way, cool, all right. We get on the date. The person first off goes, you know that job that I said I had? I really do something totally different.
Oh,
Instantly.
you got
Instantly,
catfish.
that
Okay.
is the moment that I now want to get up. And it's not so much the person didn't have money. It wasn't about that. It's that you misrepresented yourself. You said you did this. You don't do that. And they're like, well, I didn't feel like I knew you well enough to be honest about what I did professionally. Well, if that's how you feel, this should have still been in a talking phase. It shouldn't have been a me leaving my house phase.
No bags.
Right? And then we take it a step further. Now the date is over and it's like maybe we should go get like an after drink or whatever the case is. The person was like, instead of an after drink, maybe we should do a nightcap. No, no, no. I didn't even know what you do for a living. Now you want a nightcap. So it went from that person saying like maybe a nightcap to maybe the next time you come over, you could cook something for me. So I was like, hold on now. Like we didn't escalate it.
We can
You
turn to a
went
whole gateway
from I
drug.
took you
One
out
thing is
once,
turning to
now
something
you
else.
want me to make your mama's macaroni and cheese recipe. I don't know what we're doing right now, but you kind of escalated that rather quickly. You felt like one date, and some people really do feel this way. I took you out. Now I'm not taking you out. I took you out. And that was enough for us to determine where we're going moving forward. I don't got to keep taking you out. We went out once. And that's enough for us to decide if we're going to be in some type of relationship with each other. And I think that's another confusion. That's another thing that mixes people up when it comes to, are we hooking up? Are we dating? Or are we in a space, like I said, where we're courting? It's me and
Mm.
you building something.
So, friend, it's about that time.
Oh,
Savage question
it's
time.
question time.
Yes, ma'am. So, since we are talking about the hookup culture, are we doing 50-50 or all in?
All right. I'm going to be real, right? When I
Okay.
hear 50-50 and I think about like dealing with people, I'm gonna go 50-50 with somebody that I feel like I'm just want to date. I just want to get to know you, but I may want to get to know other people too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm weighing my options. We always hear that men got they 1 in 10. I may have to explore at least 1 in 5, just so that I can feel like I know what I'm choosing and what's out there and what's available to me and what's accessible to me, what's comfortable for me, what I like, and that's okay in a dating phase. If I'm all in, it's just me and you. I have to show, and you have to show all in energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and if I'm not giving you that and you're not giving me that, it's actions. It's not what we say, is literally how I show up and
Mm-hmm.
how you show up.
So, I know for me, right? It all depends. Like, of course, in the beginning, everybody's kind of 50-50, right? Because, like you said, you're getting to know the person. But if it's starting to be one of those things where, like, we're seeing each other 2, 3 times out the week, we're doing this, that, and the third. Here, I'm this kind of person. I can be both, right?
Mm-hmm.
So personally, I feel like this. If you and we're talking and you're like, you know what, I'm taking you seriously. I feel like, this could be something, this, that, and the third. Let's get to know each other more. Let's do this. Then yeah, I feel like I'm probably going to be all in. And it's your best bet to probably do the same. Because I'm one of those people, I can't really take you completely seriously if I'm not all in. Because if I'm 50-50 in, I'm running amok. I'm like a dog without no leash. I'm running amok out this bitch. You hear me? Like, so it's kind of like sometimes I put myself in that all in stage just so I have that space to kind of block everything and everybody out to focus on you. Because I'm one of those people where like it kind of gets a little foggy
But see,
because yeah, I'm dealing with this one that what I'm saying. I'm over here getting to know a little bit of everybody.
right, but see, that's why I'm disillusioned, right? Because the statement is saying, now if I see you 3 times a week, I may be seeing you 3 times a week opposed to the other person or people because you're convenient. Like literally, most people hook up and
Okay,
deal with
clock it.
people who are convenient to them, and that's the reality. These, I saw something the other day that says there's a lot of women who deal with individuals for a sense of security,
Mm,
right? Okay, I don't believe that's 100% wrong. I think security is a factor. Then I saw something that says a lot of men deal with women for survival and popularity, right?
whoa,
I
yeah.
like being with
Mhm.
one girl because she's a nurturer. She takes care of shit. But I like being with the other girl because she's known. And if I tell
Mhm.
my boys that I deal with that girl, everybody kind of know my shorty or want my shorty, and so she's popular. Like my fellas like
Mhm.
her because she the girl coming out with cookies to all of our games, right? It's it's a difference for like how we look at the situation. So I feel like honestly, I don't get disillusioned with time. Time, actions, conversation.
Mhm.
It's all of it. But just because you could sit around me three
Yeah.
days a week, and that's during the day, literally. But you with somebody else 3 nights a week,
Yeah. But
literally.
but I feel like when you're at the point where you're kind of vibing with somebody to the point of like, we got a good thing going, right? Everybody gets to that point where like, we got a good thing going. We're not doing this out of convenience. We're not doing this out of homelessness. We're not doing this doing this out of all these things, right? Or wherever. And I feel like when we get to that stage, that's when something gotta get cleared up. Because if that be the case, and you're like, okay, I feel like, eventually I can see us going to this next step. All right, we better talk about it. Because if I'm still out here 50-50 in, I really like, I know you're here on Tuesday and Thursday or whatever, and I see you sometime on Saturday, but the rest of the week, baby, I don't even know you exist.
Let me tell you, between 50-50 and all in, the mid ground is this. Like I said, the conversation piece. If we start off 50-50, we got to
Hmm.
keep reevaluating. I don't know if that happens every 3 weeks, every month, but we got to do a status check in. What we doing now? Because at
You'll
some
say,
point, and
what's going on
yeah,
right
I
now?
had a
We
real
still
thing.
50
I
50
was
in?
like, I'll stop when you stop, right? Because what we doing now, right? If reciprocity and being on the same page, like equating a relationship to balance, means that we got to have those build up conversations that occur maybe every few weeks where we check each other's temperature because I may now find somebody else that's better suited for me, but I'm still keeping you hanging in the balance. You may have found somebody better suited for you, but you
Mhm.
still got me hanging in the
But you
balance.
know what?
I need to
I,
check the temperature to see if we knocking everybody out the running and it's all in season, or
mhm.
we still up here with the starting five lineup ready to play.
But you know what? I feel like that's something we need to normalize in general. Checking in, period. And I think we talked about that before. Just checking in, period. Where every like you said, week or so, even if you are in that committed relationship, check in. All them check-ins matter
You,
because, like
where
you
are
say,
we?
you be in a whole marriage and you think everything cool, but then you check in with that nigga and he up here about to give you divorce papers. You feel what I'm saying? Like a check-in is needed, period.
Yeah, you know what? Like I said, I would say 110% agree with something that is so necessary. And I think that people take that for granted when they're getting to
Mhm.
know people, when they feel like they're involved with them already, and when they're in relationships after they got people. They don't check in. They're not checking in throughout the process. It's like you feel like you know enough of what you need to know. So
You
I
feel like because you're okay, the person is okay. And I feel like that's what it is. Sometimes we put our emotions on somebody else. And we feel like because we feel like the situation okay, I'm happy. I feel like everything's going fine. Everything is this, not knowing that this person is not in that state. That's not how they even feel about this at all. They ain't happy. They ain't been happy in weeks, months, maybe
true.
even years, depending on how long y'all
And you
been
know
dating.
what that
But
is
because y'all
because
don't have them check-ins.
yep, because you know what, that doesn't open the situation to change. Us as people, we're allowed to grow and develop and shift our perspective. So what was okay and what was cool in the beginning of a relationship doesn't mean that's what's going to be okay and cool towards the end, middle, or the next phase of it. What I was
Yeah.
cool with during the dating phase may not be how I get down in a relationship or in a marriage, right? You
That's a
may have
fact.
gotten some of an introduction, but I tell people all of the time, who I am when you're dating me is very different expectations that I set for somebody who is married to me or committed to me. So like, and I could have that conversation with you throughout, but I think a lot of the confusion that people have, like you said before, we give people access to things that they should not have access to before in those locked in
Right.
relationships, before
Before
we've
it's even
agreed upon
locked
the
in.
title,
Yes.
before we agreed upon the status, before we decided what commitment means to us.
You get too much access too early.
Mm-hmm. And
It's
that's
too
what
much
makes it
access
hard.
that's given too early, and then that's when the confusion comes about. Before you, like I said, before the commitment, before everything, the access that is provided gives the confusion.
And I think for even me as a woman and for any man, that's what makes it easier to hook up. Because the reality of it is, if I could get all of the trips, the flights, the dates, the interaction, you
Hmm.
doing things, you ready to take my mama to the grocery store, all of that, without the idea of us being in some type of relationship, it's like you leave it open where I don't have to want that because I feel like a lot of that is getting met. It's the same thing. If you giving him all of the late night interaction, you
Hmm.
cooking all of the meals,
That
you doing
macaroni
everything
and cheese you just
that
talked
you
about.
there's no reason. There's no reason for people to take it to the next level because we're not holding each other accountable. We're not elevating each other towards more. We're like, I'm happy with the status quo. We could just hook up and still have the same experiences. The people who get more are the people who demand more
Like
in that
like we said,
situation.
it's the companionship without the commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is. And that's what a lot of people be looking for sometimes. You want to feel like you have that girlfriend, you have that person that's doing this for you. I can call on them when this happens. If I need them, they're going to come in clutch. If I want to go out, I can do this. If I want somebody laying next to me once a week, or even if I wanted it every day, you can do that too. You want that companionship without the commitment. So that way, whenever you decide that you want to sit here and move how you want to move, and you want to go where you want to go, you can pull that out your ass because you know that we're technically not committed to each other. But you want to still have a certain tie to somebody where you're like, yeah, I still have that companionship. I still feel like I have a girlfriend, but I can move out in these streets like I don't.
Mm-hmm. And that's that's it's an unfortunate piece, but I think that it's something we can grow through,
Yes,
right? I feel like
ma'am.
there has to be a cultural shift, and I started off by saying,
A big
people,
ass shift.
yeah, like people can't rely on, like I said, the conversations that we are having is to allow people to open themselves up to have conversations at home. Have conversations at home. Have conversations with your loved ones, with your partners, with the people that you think you chatting with. If this didn't do anything, I hopefully encourage somebody to have real conversation and communication with somebody that you're talking to because love doesn't yield confusion, right? If something
That's
is
better.
meant to be, if something is meant to go to the next step, you don't sit in spaces of confusion, worried about what we doing, how we doing it. It should be very clear.
That's better. So, friend, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. We appreciate y'all. Like we said, this is a hard week for everybody. We are here for y'all. And friend, go ahead and send them out.
So yes, we appreciate y'all rocking with us. As y'all already know, follow us on across social media platforms. We're here on Thursdays at 8:30 every other week. It's your girls from Who Woke the Savage. It's me, Miss Wellen Woke, and my girl, Lady A Savage. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you get your listening needs. We appreciate y'all joining in. And if you want to DM us some questions, we're open to all of it because we ain't never scared. We gonna talk about it all. We love y'all for free.
Yes, we do. So, like my homegirl said, anything you want. Also, all savage questions, please DM them to me. And yeah, we all growing together.
All right, so we out, y'all.
See y'all.